Son of a... So there we go. I've only had it in the garage for 15 minutes. Already drop has hit the floor. So as you can see, the seal there is obviously gone. So we're going to change that radial seal. And as I said, the issue is, am I going to be able to get enough compression on it, or am I going to have to deal with all this mess? I don't know. We'll see. I've already hit all the bolts with some penetrating oil 24 hours ago in the event I do need to break them loose, so hopefully that'll help. But anyway, that's the situation. It's always something. So here's the applicable pages for the manual. You notice, yeah, it does say differential front. However, the front and rear differential are, as far as I know, but don't quote me on this, as far as I know, virtually identical. So here's the details. There's the seal. There's where the seal actually lives. Here's the seal being pressed in with the factory tool, of course, and there's the specs for where the seal, how the seal should fit in the flange. There's what it looks like. You can see there's a huge difference between the left and right hand sides. This is the side we're dealing with, of course, which doesn't have the flange that you can unbolt, so just my luck. There's the specs on the oil, the lubricant you need for the differential, and the capacity, torque specs for the plugs. Here's what the drive shaft actually looks like. This is that would be the right hand side for the front, left hand side for the rear, and this is the side we're actually dealing with. So I'm hopeful that I can get enough compression on this joint that we don't need to undo the entire front end. Reason being, there's the jack points. If you're not familiar with it, like me, this is the first time I'm actually jacking the vehicle. So I'm a floor jack at this point, and then of course the safety stands are going to go on the frame rails. So here's the suspension. This is a complicated one. It's a 4-link arrangement. Rear subframe, upper and lower arms, trailing link, and control link. So I'm hoping, and not shown on this drawing, however shown on this drawing, is actually the shock absorber as well, which is attaches to the lower arm. Hence the 2 holes on the lower arm drawing there. So I'm hoping that I can disconnect these 3 components here, drop it enough, and move the knuckle out in the event that I can't get enough compression on this joint here in order to remove it. Sorry, this joint here in order to remove it from the axle. Splined here is going to be awfully close, but if it won't come out, I guess I'll have to undo it here. Okay, so first things first, we'll drain the lubricant from the pumpkin. Of course, something to catch the gear oil with. It's always a good chance. It's always a good practice to remove the top one first, the fill, even though you're going to drain it from the lower, obviously. Reason being, if you have any trouble with the fill, you're going to have grief actually servicing it when you put everything back together. So good practice to remove the fill first, even though you're going to drain it. You won't see me doing that for the simple reason I had this out just the other day, because I have topped this up because it is leaking so badly. I topped it up just the other day, so I know that's going to come loose. So you'll just see me start with the drain here. Safety specs. The 3/8 square drive. Lovely. Wear some gloves if you don't like getting dirty. I don't like getting dirty any more than the next guy, but I don't like wearing gloves either. What can you do? The drain is, of course, a mag plug, so not a bad idea. You take a look. There's a wee bit of paste on it. No part numbers though. Just a circlip that holds this inside. So again, a wee bit tricky to get the angle of the dangle right, but try. That went well, even better than I thought. Can you hear my neighbor's AMX 1970? Nice car, I'll show you that one of these days. Back to the project at hand here. and I'm just hoping this is going to give me enough room here. Not gonna happen. Not a chance in hell. Right, so you saw it on the drawing, but in reality, the bolt for the lower arm, maybe the damper as well, bolt. So that would be one. I think we're going to have to do a minimum of 3. There's the trailing arm. They're all captive bolts, I believe, which is good and bad. And there's the control arm, so that bolt as well. Headphone users, heads up. Oh, that went all right. I should be honest about things. Actually, I was struggling to break that loose, so I actually bought some new spanners lately because they were on sale. Because I'm a cheap bastard, and it's aviation spanners they call them, with a heavy offset on the one side, ratcheting fixed head on the other side. I would have probably preferred the articulating head, but anyway, these were on sale, and I've heard that the articulating head can't stand up to the torque because it's really a long wrench. It's 14-16 inches long. Well, I've been in aviation for 32 years. I've never seen anybody use these. I'm not saying they don't, but I've never seen anybody use them. Right, so this was the short-term goal, was to be able to remove the axle from the inboard side. And as you can see, it is in fact removed. There's the seal there. I'm just praying. I'm no religious guy, but let's say I'm hoping that the guy at the part shop gave me the right seal. There it is sitting there. Oh, it looks like it was leaking now. And as you can see, I do in fact have the strut. I decided to undo the shock just to make life a wee bit easier. There's the through bolt from the lower arm, of course. There's where it goes through the bushing. There's the trailing arm disconnected, and right there, that is the control arm. So I'll take you top side, just a few points of interest. So all the large bolts, 1, 2, 3 of them, are actually from the control, the trailing, and I've not marked it, but this one's actually the lower arm, are 19mm. And the damper is actually a 17mm head on the bolt. I strongly recommend you remove these 2 little bolts, 10mm each. One is actually for a wheel speed clamp, and one for the parking brake cable, because when you go to swing it out, you have to swing it out pretty significantly in order to clear the inboard side. You're going to start stressing the park brake cable, and we're trying to move forward here, no backward. You don't want any damage to wheel speed sensing. When you're doing this kind of work, take your time. I'm not going to overextend myself and say this should be a pleasure. It's still at the end of the day work to do this kind of stuff, but you should be able to take some kind of satisfaction. Not everything should be frustrating. Take the time. If you know this work is coming up, hit it with some penetrating oil ahead of time. Clean the threads. Don't rush. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to make mistakes. Right, so there's the flange, the mount where the seal actually goes into, and of course before you pull the old seal, you can see I've got a rag in there because this was a disaster and I don't want any of that garbage going inside. Just make sure that your new seal appears to be correct, both the outside and inside diameters. I've already checked there. I'm trying to do this one-handed here. I've already checked it and it does in fact fit on the shaft. So if you're fortunate enough to have a seal puller tool of some sort, first thing, note where this actually sits. See, there's a little chamfer there. I hope you can see it on the camera. and it sits just below that, and I'll show you the spec on the drawing, which is just like a millimeter below. So if you've got a seal puller, pick up the edge, hopefully that'll pop out. Easy does it, and it comes out. Don't forget to remove your rack. I think that's obvious. See, sometimes you're just better off going to the manufacturer and paying the extra couple of bucks. So I had looked at the outside diameter of this seal, and it appeared to be the same one. Obviously on closer inspection, that's not the right inside diameter, is it? I slid it over the shaft. It does go over the shaft. It feels right, but there's a step in the shaft as you go further outboard. It's clearly the wrong seal. So this is going to be in two parts now because I've got the wrong seal, and it's a Saturday evening. I ain't getting one now for another couple of days. These are the frustrations you deal with in life, right? What can you do? You can cry about it, but I ain't going to fix it. So part 2, I'll show you this going back in, guys, which is pretty much going to be the reverse of the removal anyway. So I will post this as part 1 because I think there's value in this. The only thing you really didn't see is the new seal being installed and everything being reversed. So I'm sorry, it's going to have to be a two-parter, but you can see why. Believe me, there's nobody more disappointed than me. Right, that's it, boys. Cheers. This is why you make sure you can shut your garage door, just in case things go off the rails and you need some contingency.